examples of how policy governance has helped your clients in identifying and addressing risk?
Wow, what a good question. You know, one of the things I've found when I go to work with a board that's just moving into policy governance is that they they come across the uh, set of policies that really cover off things they hadn't even been thinking about,
Mm.
and particularly with regard to risk. And I'm thinking of an example, one of my clients where the board had developed a set of policies around treatment of staff, and the CEO was given the responsibility to ensure compliance with that set of policies. And when the CEO started looking at that and thinking about how can I demonstrate compliance for these policies, what the CEO realized was that there were gaps in what they were currently doing at that point in time. And so the CEO brought in an HR specialist from outside because it's a very small organization, so they didn't have the internal HR specialist. And in this case, they brought in that expertise from outside, which really helped them to address that risk that was there. They hadn't even realized it was there until they went to developing that policy.
Yeah, that's one of the real benefits that policy governance can bring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rose,
And I think that one of the things that I remark on or that I observe these days with boards that have been using policy governance, but where new risks emerge. So, for example, like cybersecurity or destruction of digital documents, that those things have become really, they're risks to the organization, and the board starts looking at, well, how do we actually, where does this fit in our policies? But there is a place for them. It's finding where they fit and then finding, of course, the appropriate sort of boundaries for CEO action. But it's really helpful that there's a place to go as opposed to just developing a brand new policy on, cybersecurity, for example.
and then, of course, once they've got the policies, the fact that they monitor them regularly
Correct.
is the
Yeah.
other piece of the management of the risk.
Yeah, and it's very reassuring to the board that they're actually getting, evidence that in fact they are taking the kind of measures that are necessary to protect against, cyber attacks or ransom or whatever, that they've thought that through, and it's present in the operations of the organization.
Right.
Yeah.
That whole structure of policies around, especially around limitations from the operational perspective, is so astonishing to my mind because it addresses things we hadn't even thought of. I think back to the beginning of the pandemic when COVID first came along, and I think about the number of boards that were really concerned. They were asking the question, have we got things addressed appropriately? And when they dug into their policies, they'd actually already addressed it, and they hadn't even realized that they didn't think about pandemics when they were sitting down to develop policies, right?
Yeah, I've seen CEOs give specific monitoring reports about how the safety issues in their policies already related to the pandemic situation specifically.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, I think that's been a real, not surprise for boards. I guess maybe some are surprised, but I think it's more the reassurance, and I think it gives them more confidence in the how to use the policies and the fact that their policies are comprehensive and do protect the organization.
Definitely.
So, I think they're really, really feeling self-assured about that.
Agreed.